Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're doing something I've been really looking forward to, which is unboxing and hardware deep dive on the brand new NVIDIA Jetson Orin Nano Super Developer Kit. And to make this even more interesting, I've got the original Jetson Nano right here. So, this is the board that got so many of us into edgeAI and robotics in the first place. So throughout this video I'm going to be comparing every single spec and port, head-to-head, to show you just how much this platform has evolved. Whether you're a student, a maker, a robotics developer, or just someone who's been sleeping on edgeAI. So stick around because this thing is genuinely impressive. Let's get into it. So here are the two versions of NVIDIA Jetson Nano Developer Kit. This is Jetson Nano's old version, which was launched in September 2019. And this is a NVIDIA Jetson Orin Nano Super, which was officially launched on December 17, 2024. Let me show you the back side of this box where some information is given. So, you can see, it's a Jetson Orin Nano 8GB module. Now hold on. Look at this box carefully. You see it says Jetson Orin Nano Developer Kit. Right, and not Orin Nano Super. So, you must have been wondering, why am I calling it Super since start of this video? Let me explain, because this is actually one of the most interesting things NVIDIA has done in a while. The Super is not a new piece of hardware. It's a software update. In our upcoming video for this kit, we will see this in detail. We will see how to make this kit as Super Developer Kit via software upgrade. So, these are two boxes with two different boards, but they have 5 years gap in their launch. The original Jetson Nano launched in 2019. This guy right here in my other hand. A $99 edgeAI board with a Maxwell GPU, quad-core A57 CPU, and 4 gigs of RAM. At the time, it was revolutionary, affordable AI compute at the edge, accessible to students and hobbyists for the first time. Then its successor, the Orin Nano Developer Kit, came in 2023 with upgraded hardware features, like 8 gigs of RAM, proper NVMe support, pre-installed wireless network card, 2 CSI camera connectors, a massive step up from the original Nano. And after that, just over a year ago in December 2024, NVIDIA flipped a software switch, called it Super, and cut the price in half. Same Orin Nano hardware, same carrier board, same module. Just a software upgrade, called as Super. That's the entire Jetson Nano journey right here in my two hands. Now, let's unbox the latest one and see what that journey actually means in hardware. Let's unbox the Orin Nano kit. So, you can see there are two compartments here. On one side, picture of power adapter and instruction manual. And other side is the picture of kit. Let's open them. And first thing that comes out is the board itself. And right away, you can notice that the heatsink and active cooling fan are both already pre-mounted on top of the module. NVIDIA ships it fully thermally managed out of the box. No assembly, no hunting for a compatible fan separately. That's an improvement over some earlier kit. Like, in Jetson Nano, we had to separately purchase and mount the module, compatible heatsink and cooling fan by ourselves. This is kind of instructions manual, getting started guide or warranty document. Let's keep it aside. Let me show you the power adapter first. So it's a DC, 19 volts, 2.3 ampere, with barrel jack. Okay, so since this kit has been made in Vietnam, you can see it's written on this box. They have included two types of power cables here. You can see, there are two different types of power plugs. One is Indian type power plug, and other one is NEMA, American type power plug. Alright, now comparing to that of what came with the original Jetson Nano. Back then, you got the board, and that was basically it. Minimal. No power adapter and Wi-Fi card. But this, Orin Nano, feels like a much more complete out-of-the-box experience, since the essential accessories like power adapter and Wi-Fi card are already included in the kit. Okay, now let's take out the boards and keep these boxes aside. Now, let's do a physical side-by-side tour. I'll go around the board and compare each side. First, the form factor. Both are roughly similar in footprint. the Orin Nano Super is 100 by 90 mm and just 36 mm tall, including the heatsink and active cooling fan. The old Nano is a bit slimmer without active cooling concerns. Physically, they could almost be siblings, but that's where the similarity ends. Then, the module itself. The Orin Nano Super uses the Jetson Orin Nano 8GB module. You can actually see the module sitting on the carrier board. It's a separate compute-on-module design, meaning you can theoretically swap it out for an Orin NX for even more performance. On the other hand, the original Nano also had a module-on-carrier design, but the ecosystem around it is essentially legacy now. Now let's see the very important differences about the modules. Those are about the CPU, GPU, and RAM. Let's see in detail. First, about the CPU. The original Nano runs a quad-core ARM Cortex-A57 at 1.43 GHz. The A57 is a solid but old microarchitecture from around year of 2013. On the other hand, the Orin Nano Super has a 6-core ARM Cortex-A78E, a version 8.2. It's a 64-bit CPU. 2 extra cores, and the A78E is a modern out-of-order architecture with significantly better IPC, meaning each core does more work per clock cycle. The AE suffix is important too. It refers to a special automotive-grade core variant, capable of achieving SIL3 safety standards for industrial applications. Orin is reportedly the first Tegra chip to license this core. So, the original Jetson Nano uses NVIDIA's Maxwell GPU architecture, 128 CUDA cores. Maxwell is a 2014-era architecture. No tensor cores whatsoever. Tensor cores are the dedicated hardware blocks designed specifically for matrix multiply-accumulate operations, which is the mathematical heart of every neural network. The old Nano had 0 of them. However, the Orin Nano carries NVIDIA's Ampere architecture with 1024 CUDA cores and 32 tensor cores. That's 8 times the CUDA cores, plus tensor cores added on top. And critically, the Orin Nano uses the same AI architecture as the Jetson AGX Orin module, just at a more affordable price point. So you're running the same silicon family as NVIDIA's flagship edgeAI product. So, how's the difference between the AI performance numbers? Let's see. So, the original Nano delivers 472 GFLOPS. The Orin Nano Super delivers 67 TOPS. NVIDIA quotes this as up to 80 times the AI performance, and I want to be honest with you here, because that 80x number needs context. That comparison is made using INT8 precision on the Orin Nano versus FP16 on the original Nano. When you compare both boards using FP32 precision, the performance gain drops to about 5.4x, which is still very impressive, but far more honest than 80x. So, keep that in mind when you see that headline number anywhere. Then, very important, the RAM memory. The original Nano has 4 GB of 64-bit LPDDR4 at 25.6 GB per second bandwidth. Whereas the Orin Nano Super has 8 GB of 128-bit LPDDR5 at 102 GB per second in super mode. That's double the capacity, a wider bus, and 4 times the memory bandwidth. For the AI inference specifically, memory bandwidth is critical. The GPU is constantly streaming model weights from RAM, so faster bandwidth directly translates to faster token generation when running large language models. Beside the module on this Orin Nano Super kit, you can see there are 2 MIPI CSI connectors that support up to 4-lane cameras. So higher resolution, better frame rates, and stereo vision setups are all much more practical here. However, old Nano has only 1 MIPI CSI connectors on the B01 revision and got 2 on the later revisions. Then if you come down here, you will see a barrel jack for DC adapter. Now, this is very important. Please pay attention. So, the old Jetson Nano can be powered through 2 different ways. Either by providing 5 volts 3 to 4 ampere DC voltage via this barrel jack, or by USB power adapter, or even cell phone charger which provides 5 volts 2 ampere via this micro USB port. But in case of Orin Nano, this dev kit handles power differently. Here you can power this board only via this DC barrel jack by supplying 9 to 19 volts. Although it features a USB-C port, this port is strictly for data, such as flashing the device or connecting peripherals. It does not support power delivery, meaning the board must be powered via the dedicated DC barrel jack. They have included power adapter in the box, which outputs 19 volts and can deliver 45 watts. Alright, let's move forward. Here, beside DC power jack, you can see display output port. This one catches people off guard. Since the old Nano had both HDMI and DisplayPort, the Orin Nano Super has only a DisplayPort 1.2 output, no HDMI. So if you're connecting to an HDMI monitor, you'll need a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter, like this one. Active or passive both work. Just budget for that if you don't already have one. Then comes these USB ports. Old Nano had 4 USB ports, which were a mix of USB 3.0 and 2.0, plus a micro USB for power or headless console access. In case of Orin Nano Super, there are 4 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports, plus a USB-C port that handles data and recovery mode. As we know, everything is USB 3.2 now. Huge upgrade for connecting fast SSDs, cameras, or peripherals. Then comes this Ethernet port. So this is a gigabit Ethernet port. The original Nano had gigabit Ethernet, but it lacked onboard Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. To get it online, you usually had to deal with an external USB dongle or install your own card. In Orin Nano, connectivity is also got a massive upgrade. Here, you still get gigabit Ethernet, but it now comes with an 802.11 AC Wi-Fi module pre-installed. It's a much cleaner setup with no dongles hanging off the side. Then, as we seen earlier, this USB Type-C port is only for data. Then, the GPIOs and expansion. Like its predecessor, Orin Nano also has a classic 40-pin GPIO header, which fully compatible with Raspberry Pi peripherals and hats. So if you've built projects with the old Nano, a lot of your expansion hardware carries over. Now let's go to the bottom side of the board. Here, as we discussed earlier, the Wi-Fi module is already pre-installed. Let's talk about it, because this is something worth showing up close. If you flip the board over, you'll see the M.2 slot is already populated. The module pre-installed is the AWCB375NF by AzureWave, built on a Realtek RTL 8822CE CG chipset. This is a Wi-Fi 5 module, dual band, supporting 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. And it's not just Wi-Fi, it also has Bluetooth 5.0 with BLE built right into the same module. One chip, both handled. Now look closely at the module, you'll see 2 tiny connectors labeled main and aux. These are UFL connectors, also known as IPEX connectors. Tiny, snap-on micro coaxial connectors, about 2 mm in diameter. The stock kit comes with internal PCB flex antennas. So, those thin black cables you see routed inside the chassis, which work perfectly fine for desktop development use. But here's something useful to know. So, these UFL connectors means you're not locked into those internal antennas. If you're putting this board into a custom enclosure for a robotics project or any kind of field deployment, you can simply disconnect those flex antennas, plug in UFL to SMA pigtail cables, route the SMA ends outside your enclosure, and connect any standard dual-band 2.4 or 5 GHz external antennas. It's a super clean upgrade, and the difference in range and signal stability is very noticeable, especially inside a metal enclosure where the internal antennas would otherwise struggle. Then, you can see, there are 2 more M.2 slots, meaning you can pop in an NVMe SSDs here for dramatically faster read-write speeds. If you're running AI model inference from disk, this is a game changer. You can also still use the M.2 slots for other purposes. So here, one M.2 slot of 2280 size running PCIe Gen 3 with 4 lanes, and one 2230 size running PCIe Gen 2 with 2 lanes. And please note that we can also boot from a USB drive connected to any USB port, so you have real flexibility. For running AI models, get an NVMe SSD. The difference in model load times versus microSD is enormous. So, the storage is one of the biggest physical differences between these 2 hardwares. The old Nano has a microSD card slot as its primary storage. That works, but microSD is slow, fragile for continuous writes, and limits your I/O throughput significantly. While the Orin Nano still features a microSD card slot, you'll definitely want to use an NVMe SSD instead. For the AI projects, the extra speed makes a massive difference in performance and reliability. So, During setup video tutorial, we will see demo of both storage scenarios, microSD card and NVMe SSD. Alright, so until now, the specifications of Orin Nano Super looks impressive across the board, but there is one area where this board actually takes a step back from the original Nano. And it's worth talking about honestly. So, the original Jetson Nano had full hardware video encoding, NVENC, supporting H.264 and H.265, encode up to 4K at 30 frames per second. Dedicated silicon, no CPU overhead at all. But the Orin Nano Super drops that completely. Video encoding is now software only, handling up to 3 times 1080p at 30 frames per second. That is genuinely a step back, and I want to be straight with you. If you're building a surveillance system, a dashcam, or any application that needs to continuously encode multiple video streams, this matters. It will eat into your CPU headroom and you'll feel it. On the decode side though, you're in good shape. It supports hardware-accelerated decoding for H.264, H.265, VP9, and AV1, up to 4K at 60 frames per second natively. No issues there. So this is clearly a deliberate design choice by NVIDIA. This board is optimized for AI inference and generative AI workloads, not for the video production pipelines. So just know your use case going in. For the pure AI and robotics work, you'll never miss the encoder. For the video-heavy applications, you must have to plan around it. Okay, so this was all about the specs and hardware overview of Jetson Orin Nano. In next part, we will see how to set up this board and get started. Please stay tuned. Thank you.